What's going on, guys? Welcome to another live session with your boy Phrankleen. If this is your first time, thank you for stopping by. So this one is basically from one of the emails from you guys. Okay, if you're watching this, if you want to send me emails with an email with your story, I'm pretty eclectic with my topics. Send your emails to foodchannel1960 at gmail.com. Look in the description below. What's up? Yewande Braids. What's going on, everybody? Right. Greetings. Hit the like button. Hit the like button. Hit the like button, man. Hit the like button if you can see me. So, hit the like button. Show your love, man. Right. So, thank you, Yano Anifowish. I love your content, bro. Love from Washington, D.C. Love from the UK. Thank you. Um, yeah. As I say, if you want to send me, your emails, look in the description below. Foot Channel 1960. So this one, basically, the lady sent me about 3 or 4 emails just chasing me up and say, Franklin, I want you to share. Someone said you fine, Shah. You get me. Your brother tries to stay fresh. Thank you for the admiration. So, she basically has been on my neck and say, Franklin, I want you to share my story. Hopefully, somebody can learn from it. Happy Thanksgiving to all you American viewers. All right. Sydney, Australia. Wow. Anyway, so these ladies basically has a few assets to herself. So I'll give you a quick background to her story. She let me see if I can leave a comment on the live session. Let's see. So I'm gonna have to mute the video here. I've got my laptop here. So just give me a second. So this lady, as I was saying, basically said, Franklin, I want you to share my stories, with people, and hopefully people are going to learn from it. So she's been dating this brother, who is of Nigerian origin. She's African American, so she's based in Texas, and she's done pretty well for herself as a black sister too. So she basically grew own assets, and then she said she met this guy through introduction through a friend of a friend or something at a gathering and stuff. So they started dating, and then but prior to that she wasn't exactly seeing anybody and stuff like that. So she said she wasn't exactly seeing anybody. So she said she met this dude. They went for a couple of dinner dates and stuff like that, and then the interest grew. Now, this brother himself, which was one of my favorite parts of that story, is he basically has his own. He's self-employed. He's got his own business. He does cargo and shipping, car parts and all that stuff to Nigeria and other parts of Africa. So she said he's built this business across 3 years, and he's doing pretty well for himself. So, but of course, this lady prior to meeting this gentleman, I think hadn't been in a relationship for a long time, and she's been into maybe real estate or something, and she's made herself a ton of money, right? So, but the bone of contention is they were dating, is all going good, and 1 second, right, here we are. Copy a link address. I'm trying to post something here. So Just bear with me 1 second. Right, okay. Me. Anyways, the the lady said she was having a good relationship with his brother. Everything was going good, and then it got to a point where they were both planning to settle down and whatnot, and then she she basically said, let's settle down. I'd love to get married. The body clock is ticking. And I love the bit where she said there was never any indication that he was after her money or trying to take advantage of her or anything like that. If she's worth about $2 or $3 million, okay, great stuff. But as soon as she said, okay, let's get married, they were starting to talk about getting married and settling and stuff. And then she brought up the idea of having a prenup. She said the brother just lost his cool and said he, he's not interested in anything prenup. And then what his reaction was, if you don't trust me, blah, 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 let's go our separate ways. And then it became a major argument and stuff. And long story short, the relationship hit the rocks and they went their separate ways. She's definitely devastated. She's heartbroken. So she's actually saying, what is it that she could have done differently, or how, she loves this guy, and but as soon as she brought up, prenup, I've got something here that I'd love to, read out to you now. For the purposes of this video session, right? A prenuptial agreement is a written contract created um, by two people before they are married. A prenup typically lists all of the property each person owns, as well as any debts, and specifies what each person's property rights will be after the marriage. Now, this is what this lady said to me via email. She said her prenup was going to be about um, to clarify financial rights, avoiding arguments in case of divorce, get protection from debts, and things like that. Because she said if people don't get prenups, things might take, what's it called? Banana shape and all that stuff. But you know what? Again, on topics like this, it's subjective. But there is something I would like to say. When it comes to issues of prenup and stuff like, stuff like this, when two partners come together, right, to amalgamate their feelings and hopefully build a relationship and build a life together, I think it sits primarily on what your values are, what your backgrounds are, cultural differences. And she's African American, no disrespect. There's nothing wrong with that. And but um, some people would say, oh, if he loves her enough, he'll sign the prenup. I disagree with that. People sign um, prenups all the time. But then again, my own point is, I'm the guy outside the confines of that relationship. Sometimes when I go through these stories, I wish I could hear from both parties, because I think it's very easy to just take sides and stuff. On face value, there is nothing wrong with a prenup, depending on the content of the prenup and the conditions around, the said prenup. I don't have a prenup. I, never done one. But what I'm saying is, it depends on the premise of the prenup, the content of the said prenup, and what's being proposed. But for some people, let's call it spade a spade. Um, Cultural upbringing. I always say these things. Who you are, your cultural background, how you were raised, so some of the major factors that affect our decisions, as well as religious beliefs, cultural background, and yeah, mostly cultural upbringing, which is a major factor. She said she loves him and stuff, and he basically felt patronized. He felt insulted because prior to them meeting up, the gentleman has got his own business. According to this woman's email, he has a cargo and shipping business. He's a hardworking man. He makes, reasonable about 5 figures every calendar month. And he also has another small business back in Africa. I don't think someone's refusal to sign a prenup should then be used as a yardstick or to suggest that it's a red flag or that person is in a good deal. There are tons of people who are married. There are people who cohabit together and they don't have a bloody prenup and they live happily together. So because somebody refuses, so I think it's a case of why did he say no? Why did he reject it? No, I disagree. You and they said he was probably insecure that the woman made more money. You said probably. Probably being an objective word. What if he wasn't insecure? According to the woman's email, I didn't see any parts where she herself suggested that yeah, it has to do with personal insecurities and anything. I don't know the person. I wish I can bump into the brother or have a chat with the brother and hear from his point of view. But unfortunately, the email came from one person. I don't think it's to do, well, it might have to do with ego or whatnot. But no disrespect. But as a woman, you would want protection in a marriage, don't you? Right? I don't know if he's an Igbo man. Let's leave tribes out of this. For a woman, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's like a marriage, getting things signed is a form of security. That's not to suggest that you're a gold digger or you're trying to take advantage. But if somebody says, I'm not used to this, this is what I'm saying about cultural upbringing. He comes from a household where he's a conventional man, he's a traditional man. The man was raised, he watched his own father, just did a traditional marriage to his own mother, and they live what he regard as a conventional life. Now he's moved to the West. He's living in the United States of America. He meets a woman he fell in love with, and then she's asking him for prenup. He knows nothing about this. It's hard for him to comprehend. He doesn't want any of that conditions apart from, okay, he didn't complain. He didn't say, I don't want to get married to you, but he just felt uncomfortable, like somebody well in advance talking about properties this, properties, that. And honestly, if he has not ulterior motive, he should have no issue with the prenup. I disagree with that point of view, and I will tell you why. Just because somebody says no to something doesn't mean they have an ulterior motive. Sorry, what is an ulterior motive? The woman said the man has his own business. He has been building his own business for 3 straight years before they even met. Okay? He put his head down in the rain, in the winter, in the snow, in the sleet, in the face of daily microaggression as a black man in America. He built a business. I think that's absolutely commendable. Let's not laser target our focus on prenups, on paperwork, and because somebody said no, we should rubbish the entirety of the man's achievement. You know what? I always like to use myself as an example. I don't bloody care what anybody makes, okay? I'm entitled to my views. So let's not use someone's pocket or someone's earnings or someone's bank balance as a yardstick to judge someone else. I think it's absolutely unfair. So even somebody might not have a lot of money today. If he's hardworking, if the person is dedicated today, or keeps on grinding, they might make it tomorrow. They might end up. The woman currently, at the time of reading this email, has a net worth of nearly $3 million. Now, if sounds to me and looks to me like she's worked hard to build that empire, I'd like to believe. But building a net worth of $2 million is equally commendable. But I repeat, you cannot use your achievement. I think that's arrogant to then look down on your partner and say, oh, he has ulterior motives or he feels insecure. If somebody feels insecure and they articulate that or they show that by way of their actions or display, then I can understand. If I'm alien to something, I'm within my rights to say no. There are a lot of people that are raised with some of these traditional and conventional values, which, if you're alien, people hardly do prenups in, for example, in Africa. There might be a handful of people, and I'm talking in recent times. In Africa, in Nigeria, in Ghana, it's not a common practice where people sit down and you talk about prenups. People have wills, people have lawyers, people have wills. You will have your typical African man might have some investment hidden away from his wife, which is not a good thing. So you have wives hide assets from their partners. People do that all the time, right? But you never find people, it's not a common practice in Africa whereby you want to marry someone and then you say, um, let's have a prenup done. And this is not me condemning, totally condemning the idea of having a prenup. But I'm saying, because somebody's migrated to the States and you've met someone, people fall in love every day. There's nothing wrong with that. I don't want nothing to do with prenup. I haven't got a clue. I don't want this. Doesn't mean I'm threatened by the woman's the woman's achievements or I have an ulterior motive. And it's like I said earlier, it's commendable. The man has his own money. I'm that type of dude. If I'm making my own £5,000, £8,000 monthly, you're making your own £40,000. Great stuff. I have my own independence. I can pay my own way. What does it matter if you make £40,000? Well, I speak for myself. I don't speak for the other man. And there is no indication that I've got my eyes in your wealth. Why should you insult me because you've got more money? I think that's arrogant. Let me read some of the comments here. Please, everyone with money and want to get married, you must sign a prenup no matter what. If not, then don't get married. Both women and men, greed is killing marriages. I love that. I love that comment from Emmanuel Safari. Now, prenup or no prenup, humans are wired with greed. There's a lot of greedy people on this timeline tonight. People are naturally, it's a human nature. People are evil, people are vindictive, people are dodgy, people are dishonest. It's human nature, unfortunately. There are people that are nice. There are people that are evil. There are people that, however much you love them, it doesn't matter how much you shower them with love and affection, they will still let you down. It's life. Do you get what I'm saying? So, of course, I agree with protecting your finances. If you worked by yourself, you've spent a chunk of your life to personally build, finance or wealth that's worth about $2-3 million, however much, and you feel like protecting your wealth, I also cannot condemn you for that. But to use that against the next person and say, oh, they must sign it, I don't see how that's fair. If somebody doesn't feel comfortable and they want to walk away for that reason, so be it. So be it. You can always on point with your messages. Keep up the great job. Happy Thanksgiving to everyone. Hey, yesterday, thank you. I appreciate it. You don't have to worry about half of that disappearing in divorce. Yeah, it's got Daryl Martin. I agree. It's got its benefits, but he's open to marry another culture. He should be open to a prenuptial. Oh well. What if after divorce you both end up with others' debts, true, fault of it? Greed changes human beings. There is too much 419 going on. I know, man. I would rather put everything on the table before marriage than hiding, but no disrespect. I can respect that. The cultural difference is null and void. He's in America, not Nigeria. She's African American. Hey, I disagree, Yewande. Don't say the cultural difference is null and void. You are a product of your environment. You're a product of what your background is. Did you know that the way I got raised is totally different from the way you got raised? Now, as an adult, I have actually made conscious decision to then come out of the box with my thought process about certain things and then try to unlearn and relearn and try to improve. As I'm sat here, I've still got my truckload of imperfections and failings as a human being. So You cannot say just because of a geographical location. So I've traveled from Nigeria to United Kingdom or to United States. It means my cultural background, and especially if you grew up in that part of the world, you've grown up, you've formed as an adult, you have your ways set in stone. So that you've spent 5, 6 years thereafter in the States, it's really not going to change much. You might be able to adapt and acclimatize with the way things are done in the United States, but not fully. It's easier for people that travel abroad as young kids, and also even your parental, your family values and how you were raised within African household in America will still impact the way you see certain things. There will be the Western influence, but it's don't just say because somebody's moved to United States or United Kingdom, oh yeah, boom, boom, they become an American. Nah, man, you might be an American on papers, but your cultural difference. If you're a Nigerian man, you already turned 30 in Nigeria or 35 before you move to the States. You're a solid Nigerian man with your values. Then hopefully you might be able to shake off some things if you're willing. Have to pop away, but we'll catch up later. I strongly disagree with you on this subject. I still appreciate. I don't know what your perspective is. You're free to disagree with me. I love to learn from people. Let's share your ideas and your views. All I'm saying is nobody's obligated to do anything. That's my closing point. You know, yeah, the woman has the right to protect her assets. I'm not sat here saying if you've worked hard in real estate industry and you've built a wealth of about $2 to $3 million, whoa, you know, that's, to me, I salute your effort, right? In fact, I would love that person to come on my channel and share those ideas with fellow black people on how to build wealth, and hopefully people can learn from you. It's commendable. Personally, I admire that. But if somebody doesn't get the concept, doesn't want to get involved in prenup, I've read it. The idea of prenup and, what she said a prenup was about, personally, I don't see anything wrong with it. But if somebody doesn't align with it, you cannot force anybody to. You can't. You cannot impose that on anybody. But the good news is, did you know that you don't have to get married to be happy? You don't have to get married to enjoy your wealth, to enjoy life and be great and bless humanity. You don't have to. Somebody said, what's wrong with protecting your assets? Chris, there's absolutely nothing wrong. But if the conditions around protecting your assets requires somebody else signing the dotted lines to conform to that protection, and that person doesn't want to be part of that process, you cannot force them to be part of that process, is all I'm saying. I'm not saying it's a crime to protect your asset. If I've got assets, however much assets I've got, I'm within my right as a person to protect my assets, of course. But if the other person doesn't want to be part of a prenup, let them be. What if it was your daughter that had that kind of money? What are your suggestions? Good question. Daphne, I'm a very objective man. You would agree with me that there are numerous ways to protect your assets, okay? Also bear in mind, at that time, my daughter would have become an adult, right? Of course, I would protect my daughter's interests, right? I'll have a conversation with her. Now, if my daughter says to me, Dad, this is such and such that I'm in love with, we're dating, I can see them as a dad, and then she comes to me and say, Dad, he doesn't want to go ahead with the relationship because he doesn't like the idea of prenup. He has his own money. He may not be making money as much as my daughter, and he decides to walk. What am I going to do? I'm not going to pick up the phone or call hey man, come here, man, listen, my daughter is a good girl, blah, 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 blah. No. I'll just say to my daughter, find better ways to protect your assets. Simple as that. You can only do so much. Of course, I don't want my daughter to lose her assets or some thief or greedy man to take advantage of my daughter and take her to the cleaners. But if the dude wakes up and says, I'd love to get married, but I don't want to do prenup, okay? He could have done a prenup too, maybe my daughter would have said yes to his prenup, but he just doesn't want prenup. What do you do, man? This is why I said at the start, it's subjective, But I am not of the opinion, finally, I am not of the view, I don't think it's fair to say somebody has an ulterior motive or they are bad because they just don't want to align with prenup. I don't agree with that. I guess it's all about choice because of life's experience. That may be personal. I agree with that. Cultural reasons, the way you were raised, understanding. Somebody said red flag is a gold digger. No, I disagree with you. It doesn't necessarily make him a gold digger. I disagree with you. Because somebody doesn't want to sign your document doesn't make them a gold digger. Particularly because that person is making their own money. You should learn to respect that. That doesn't make them a gold digger. That doesn't make them a gold digger. I disagree. If you believe it's a gold digger, then walk. If they get divorced, she walks away with what she walks in with. So does he. I agree with that. Yep, that's absolutely fine. Have you heard of a guy count Dynasty? If you could watch some of his videos. Yeah. Dynasty. Millionaires are gold diggers too. Thank you. Because somebody's a millionaire doesn't mean they are morally sound. Doesn't mean they are perfect. Doesn't mean they've got it all figured out. Let's be aware of that, man. Because somebody has millions doesn't mean they are perfect. Doesn't man. Doesn't mean they lack the ability to not to dupe other people. I like that. Look for someone else that will sign up for prenup. If someone offers a prenup, you have every right to offer a counter. Yeah. Anyway, that's me done. Let's keep the conversation going on below. Yeah, I agree. Love is not enough. Protect your assets. What do you think? Of course, love is not enough, man. Humans get greedy. When they see that you got money, somebody might have funny ideas and try to take. Women do it. Men also do it. Okay? Protect your assets, but if somebody doesn't want to be part of a process, just let them be, man, and move on. Enjoy life. You only get one shot at life, man. Happy Thanksgiving to all you Americans, and I'll definitely catch you in the next one. If you want to send me email, foodchannel1960@gmail.com. If you join the feed late, once I'm done, you can always have a playback and watch it from the start, okay? Greetings from Black Spain. Hey, greetings from the UK. Come to the USA. I've been to the USA twice in the past. Someday soon, maybe next year, I might come to the States. Happy Thanksgiving once again. It's your boy Phrankleen. I'll catch you tomorrow. Peace and love, man. Bye now.